Today, we're diving deep into the mind of Osho, who was, one of the most talked about and controversial spiritual thinkers of his time. We're going to explore his really radical ideas about the ego, and we're going to ask a question that might hit close to home. Is your ambition just a mask? Let's get right into it.
So, get this. Osho completely rejected the idea of even having a biography. To him, all those facts, when you were born, where you were born, they were totally meaningless. He believed the only thing that ever mattered was right now, this present moment. And this quote, it just perfectly captures his whole philosophy. The life story we tell ourselves, the one we're so proud of, isn't about our true self, our soul. Nope. It's about this thing we build up called the ego.
And that brings us to a really personal question, one that's right at the heart of everything Osho taught. Is that ambition that's driving you, the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning? Is it just a cover for something else? Let's unpack what he really meant by that.
Okay, so first things first, to really get what Osho is about, you have to wrap your head around this huge paradox. He was a spiritual guru who said he had no belief system. Kind of weird, right? He wasn't interested in giving you new beliefs to follow. His whole mission was to completely destroy the ones you already had.
And his reasoning was actually pretty simple. He looked at a biography and just saw a story of the ego. That's it. And all those belief systems we hold on to, religious, political, you name it, he saw them as just programming. He literally said his job was to deprogram people, to leave them totally free from all the labels society slapped on them from the moment they were born. So, if we strip away our life story and our beliefs, what's even left? Well, this is where we get to Osho's biggest idea about the ego. He completely redefines our ambition, that drive we all have for success, and says it's really just a symptom of a much, much deeper issue. And here is the absolute key to all of this. Osho taught that the ego isn't a sign of strength or confidence at all. It's the exact opposite. It's a defense mechanism, it's a mask we build, piece by piece, to hide this nagging inner voice that's always telling us we're not good enough, that we're basically nothing.
So where does that awful feeling come from? Well, Osho says society plants these little seeds of doubt from day one. We're constantly being told we aren't enough just as we are. You have to prove yourself. You have to become somebody important, make a ton of money, leave your mark on history. All this pressure creates this deep wound that our ego then desperately tries to cover up.
Now, the immediate reaction here is probably, whoa, wait a minute. Isn't ambition a good thing? I mean, it's what pushes us to achieve incredible things, to contribute to the world. What could possibly be wrong with that? Well, Osho has a fascinating answer for us.
The problem, as Osho sees it, is that the ego lives and breathes in a world of constant comparison. And that, my friends, is a game you can literally never win. It's a trap, and it's designed to guarantee you will always feel unsatisfied.
Osho tells this great parable to explain it. There's this sage who saves a rat from a cat by turning it into a cat. Simple enough. But then a dog comes along and threatens the cat, so poof, he turns it into a cheetah. Then a lion appears, so the sage turns the cheetah into a powerful lion. But what happens next? The lion, now huge and strong on the outside but still just a scared little rat on the inside, turns and attacks the very person who created it. The ego gets bigger and bigger, but its fearful, insecure nature never actually changes.
And you see this ancient story playing out all the time in the modern world. I mean, think about Donald Trump. He became the president of the most powerful country on earth, twice, but was still openly bothered that he didn't get a Nobel Peace Prize like his predecessor. Or Napoleon. He conquered an entire continent, but was absolutely infuriated by cartoons that made fun of his height. You see, for the ego, the achievement is never, ever enough, because there's always a new comparison waiting around the corner.
And this really gets to the core of the problem. Comparison is the fuel that the ego runs on. You might be rich, but guess what? Someone else is more powerful. You might be powerful, but someone else is more famous. It's this endless ladder where you're always stuck somewhere in the middle, always looking up at the next person.
So, if the ego is this impossible trap, how in the world do we get out? Osho's solution is completely counterintuitive. It's not about fighting your ego or trying to destroy it. Actually, he says that's the worst thing you could possibly do.
See, if you try to fight your ego, you just end up creating a new one, a more subtle one, the spiritual ego. You start getting proud of how humble you are. Osho says the real path is to just observe it, watch it, understand it, and accept that feeling of nothingness it's trying so hard to hide. Once you stop fighting it, once you stop feeding it with your attention, it just withers away on its own, like a house of cards in the wind.
Buddha called this state Nirvana, which literally means nothingness. But it's not some scary negative void. It's a really profound state of acceptance. It's that moment when you can look at that inner feeling of being nothing and be totally, completely okay with it. When you're satisfied with being zero, the ego has nothing left to feed on. It just loses all its power over you.
Okay, so this leads to the big final question, right? If we drop our ambition and our ego, what's left? Do we just sit on the couch and do nothing all day? Osho's answer is a huge, resounding no. In fact, he argues that's when you truly begin to create.
He says that once you are truly satisfied with being zero, you can achieve the most incredible things. You might write a beautiful song or paint a masterpiece or build something amazing, not to prove yourself to anyone, but simply because that creative energy is flowing through you. It's like a river just flowing naturally to the ocean. No anxiety, no competition, just pure, joyful expression.
Let's look at a modern example of this whole idea. Take the story of Vijeta Dahiya. He starts with an engineering degree, gets a fancy corporate job. That's a pretty solid ego identity, right? But his heart just wasn't in it. So after 10 months, he let it go. He then became a government officer, another stable identity, and he quit that too. He kept shedding these external labels, one after another. And today, he's a successful writer and an award-winning filmmaker, not because he was chasing a title, but because he just allowed himself to flow toward what he was truly passionate about. And that really leaves us with one final thought to ponder. If you weren't constantly trying to prove yourself, if you weren't stuck in that endless comparison game, just trying to build up your ego, what would you have the energy to create? What could you achieve if it came from a place of pure joy, instead of a place of anxiety? That, right there, is the essence of Osho's challenge to every single one of us.